Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest. Today we have from Douglas a very special lady who's going to share her experience as a breast cancer survivor. She has 2 books out. Her name is Maryellen Dubois. We say Dubois. It's spelled like Dubois, but Dubois.
Brisbois.
Dubois.
Brisbois.
Brisbois. Okay, Brisbois. I'll get it because I know I say it the French way.
Yes.
Okay, Brisbois.
That's okay.
Everybody says it differently.
I know.
I don't understand. I know it was bois,
Right.
but
That's okay too.
yeah. Already, now, you have written 2 books. This is the first one she wrote. Why I Hated Pink. No kidding. Confessions of a Breast Cancer Survivor. You chose the cover, right?
Yes, I did.
Now, I wouldn't know that was you on the back. You have a
No.
different hairdo.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Was that right after you?
Shortly after.
Shortly after.
Yes.
Okay, now, in her second book, 12 Octobers. Reflections of a Breast Cancer Survivor. Now, when did you write these?
I wrote Why I Hated Pink in 2009, I believe, in the fall.
Yeah.
And self-published it, and then had it published by a publisher who went bankrupt. Which is okay. And then I revised it some and republished it last summer in July.
Yeah. And then the second
And
one.
the second one I wrote actually over the last summer,
Yeah.
and it was published on Halloween, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I made it right through the
Now,
end of
she's going to take
October.
us through her story. What year was it that you were given? Well, first of all, she was led down the garden path that, oh no, that's just a cyst.
Yes.
I've been, that it's not. What happened in the beginning? Tell us.
In the beginning, there were several mammograms along the way that looked like there may be something there, and had ultrasounds and follow-ups. And I believe at that time I was, well taken care of, screened, and but I woke up one morning and I could feel thickness, a lump on that side, and I said something's not right. So I went to the doctor and followed through, and I was with an oncologist and a new nurse practitioner, and they said, well, we could do an aspiration and just see once and for all.
Biopsy, yeah.
Biopsy, yeah. And I said, yes, please.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, I this is it. I mean, I know there's something there. So they did, and then slowly I, got the diagnosis of stage 2.
But at first,
rectal
they thought it
cancer.
was. What happened? Somebody thought it. One of the doctors thought it was a cyst, a cyst.
For sure. And I think that happens, but
Yeah.
I think that my message is that you really have to know yourself and advocate, because I think that really things could have turned out differently if I hadn't said that day, yes, please take a sample and see. And it's very hard to do that, though.
Yeah. I had a friend go through that. I think they lay you down on your tummy,
Yeah.
and your part there is put through a hole, and then they go
Yeah.
through like that.
Sometimes they do it that way. Yeah.
Is it
sometimes.
painful, Maryellen?
I have to say no. I think the lidocaine, works fine.
Yeah.
But it's just you're in a different
Different
place.
mode. Now, after that,
Yes.
how long did it take them to get to you and say, get in here?
Pretty quickly after that. After that, then they did they removed the sentinel node, and then it was very quick after that.
Very quick.
Yes.
Wow. Well, you're a nurse.
Yes.
What's your reaction to all this?
It's not a great one. Not about more the diagnosis, because you realize, and then I was probably a nurse for, I don't know, 18 years or something like that. And I remember thinking that, oncology unit, it really isn't something that I ever anticipated I would be part of.
Yeah.
And I have seen some great outcomes, and I have seen some not so great outcomes. And I think that knowledge is power, but I think I had probably seen too much and didn't really know what to expect. So even though you're caring for patients, you don't always know exactly what they're going through. So I learned a lot of humility and a lot of empathy.
How come they didn't see this earlier? By the time you felt it, how
Right.
old do you think it was?
I think, so I was diagnosed at 41, I think probably 37 or 38 years old, something like that, when they started to find something irregular.
Did they have you just keep coming back?
Yes,
Did they
I
ever
did.
tell you, well, it could be calcium deposit? No.
Well,
They could see different
yeah,
things,
different things. I mean, and again, I think they did due diligence at that time. I believe that, but I also think that I think the response when I said no, I really, really think this is something. Then things changed.
You see, you've got to advocate for yourself.
I agree.
And that's scary.
Yes,
a lot of
for
people
sure.
go, no, the doctor knows best.
Yes.
You know best
Yes.
when it comes to what's
I
happening.
think that's very true, and I think that's an important message. If something, I think the mantra is kind of, if you have something that lasts for longer than 2 weeks, that you really should have something checked.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like that. I go right off the bat.
Yeah.
I learned from an experience I had many years ago. Don't
Yes.
wait.
Don't wait.
Her first book, Why I Hated Pink. Now, are those your wellies?
Those aren't mine. No.
Those are your, no?
No.
No. You chose the cover, though,
Yes,
right?
I did.
Now, you wrote this, was it right after?
Yes, about a year after treatment. It was 18 months after treatment.
So the first part of it is did you have a mastectomy?
No, a lumpectomy.
A lumpectomy.
Yes.
Okay.
Chemotherapy.
And then after that,
radiation.
you had the radiation
Yeah, chemotherapy.
and the chemotherapy.
Yes.
How did you get through the chemo?
I have to say, sometimes day by day, sometimes minute by minute.
Yeah.
I had a tremendous support system and still do. And I think one of the most important things that anyone can do is just reach out. I know people sometimes don't know what to do.
No.
But if I was having a not so great day and someone said, I'm thinking of you, that changed everything.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be grandiose.
No.
It can be a card, it can be something very simple.
A teddy bear, that's what I gave a friend, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just to know someone's thinking of you, and I think that, again, it was day by day, for sure.
Yeah. Did you have a rough time, or was it medium?
I don't have anything to compare it to, but I think it was challenging. The most challenging thing for me, I think, was not working, not having a normal schedule. I had no energy. I had, I guess it was a good course, if there is such a thing.
And it worked.
And
So
it worked.
at the end of it, they took an X-ray or
Yeah,
or
a
CAT?
mammogram, MRI, and said
Your
there
bone-
was nothing there.
There was
no
nothing.
evidence of disease.
And it was stage
Stage 2.
Stage 2.
Yes.
Now on the thing of 1, 2, 3, 4, what is that? Is that beginning to get scary?
I would say so.
Yeah,
I
that
would
was.
say
How long
so.
did you go for your chemo and radiation?
I went for 4 months. I had 8 treatments, so every 2 weeks I would go. So I had four rounds of one type of chemo and 4 rounds of another.
Did you have a port, Maryellen?
I did not.
You didn't?
I opted not to.
Yeah. Why? Some people like it. Why is that?
I think it should be individual, but for me, I don't know why, but I was thinking a port would make me feel as though I was sick, and I don't
Yeah.
know why and they said that was okay. That
Did you lose your hair?
I did.
It sure
did.
grew back, my friend.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
You got lucky. Did
Yes.
you wear those little hats, sock hats?
Some at home.
Did you get a wig?
I had a wig when I was out and about, but
Yeah.
I did at home. I
Just wear
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. It grew back beautifully.
Yeah,
The picture on
thank
the
you.
back.
I know.
You had dark curly hair.
Yeah, I still have curly hair, but yeah, it came back It actually came back exactly how it
Did it?
was. Yes.
Why is
Which
it that
is
sometimes when people have chemo or something or radiation, there are a few where it won't? Why would a
Yeah.
person not grow it back?
I think most people do, but sometimes it grows back different texture, different.
Yeah, different
So
textures.
for sure,
So now this was pretty much right after.
pretty much right after.
This book is pretty amazing. We're talking with Maryellen Brisbois. I got it right.
You got it.
Why I Hated Pink, Confessions of a Breast Cancer Survivor, her first book. And all these different, I had a CAT scan of my chest and abdomen, be sure the F thing had not spread.
Yes.
I love your sense of humor. I also had a bone scan for the same reason. Oh yeah, waiting for your CT scan, sipping isn't the contrast lovely? It's white, right? Oh,
Special.
it was gross. I pictured myself in the Caribbean sipping a fruity drink. That didn't work too well. This is with the first doctor, right? Talked to Blue Streak about how the MRI was wrong, and that what he could palpate was clearly not cancer. At one point, did you say, Did you stick with that doctor, or did you say, we're going forward?
I think, well, the telling point was once the disc of the MRI went into the computer and it really lit up, and then that was very telling. I did not stay with that same doctor, but not for that reason. I think, again, that things happen, but I also think that throughout the books, and not just with that, in that instance, that healthcare professionals, myself being one, have to be very careful with their words.
Yeah, that she made a good point. The doctor needs, and the staff need to be very careful. I noticed that, well, I go to UMass a lot. I noticed they are very good at that.
Sure.
In fact, you could be really, what helps me is you could be feeling really lousy. And just the fact that, well, this is what they see every day, and of course, and no problem, we've heard, I like that. That ease of
expert care, yes.
Like they're not going to cry with you or anything like that. They're right there to say, well, you know what? Here we go.
Right.
It's an adventure. Did you look upon it as an adventure?
Yeah, actually, yes.
You did?
Yes.
What was the worst part?
Oh, without a doubt, the worst part was telling my children.
Your children?
And my mother. I think
How old
those
were your
were the
children
hardest.
then, Mary?
My oldest son was a senior in high school, and then I had actually he was a junior in high school, a freshman in high school, and my daughter was in the 6th grade.
Wow.
That was the hardest. And my mom.
Your I bet you your son, the older one?
Yes.
Yeah. He probably took that real hard.
I think they all, I believe they all took it hard, but I think my middle son is my most sensitive son. He wrote the foreword to my second book.
For the second book?
For the second book. And I can't say he took it the hardest, but he really
You could tell.
struggled.
I love this. Why me? What do we all think that? And she, bad luck, my beloved oncologist said. No kidding. Oh my God.
Bad luck.
I'm a doer and needed answers and a plan, and I related to that so much. I needed to know every single page. Well, she talks about the topics like shrinkage and couch. Tell me about the couch thing. I'd be lying on the couch and
I don't know.
I said I wasn't scared, S-less, although I am known for being strong, almost to a fault. I face everything head on. I wasn't so sure about this, though. This might be even too big for me. I'm also a lousy sleeper. So did this affect that, too?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I don't sleep well. I never have slept well, but that really was challenging.
Is it that you can't get to sleep, but then you're okay, or you wake up during the night?
It depends.
You've got it all.
I have
Oh,
everything.
girl.
It's all good.
My husband, Brian, on the other hand, can always sleep.
Of course.
Yeah, I know this. I often sneak out of bed in the middle of the night to watch TV or read and try not to wake him. After the diagnosis, we'd race each other to get to the couch at bedtime.
For sure. We knew we weren't sleeping.
There's different about her boys. Tyler, the sensitive one, proud. One of the worst days of my life, I couldn't have been prouder. I explained the diagnosis and treatment to my sons. I told them that I had a great prognosis and that the surgeon had told me that I would live a long life. There you go. Did the surgeon tell you that?
Absolutely.
He did. In my best and strongest voice, I said it would be business as usual around the house and that this was no excuse for slipping grades in school. I like that.
And they did it.
Now, how can they we're going to go with both books, but how can they get your books?
They're on Amazon, local bookstores, Book Lovers, and Gourmet and Webster has them. And hopefully will be more widespread.
So you've been to the
days
Book Lovers
to come.
Gourmet.
Yes.
You know Deb Horan?
Yes.
Oh, she's a
She's
doll.
phenomenal.
So many authors come my way
Yes,
from her.
she's
And I send
lovely.
my authors over there. It's a great place to go.
She's lovely.
Did you bring your spares with you? Your extras with you? At all for downstairs?
Yes, for sure, yes.
Check downstairs at the Upton Library,
Yes.
and you'll find both books. Why I Hated Pink, Confessions of a Breast Cancer Survivor. And now the second book, 12 Octobers, Reflections of a Breast Cancer Survivor. Look at that beautiful. Did you pick that cover?
I did.
You did. Now, this book is a little different, and
It
you said that where is the one where your son,
The forward in the beginning.
let's see, where is this?
No, a little
Trying to
further.
think where his, where was he did
He
the,
wrote the forward for this one.
right.
Actually, he wrote it as a college essay.
he's in college
He-
already?
Well, he's actually getting married in a couple of weeks
You're,
now.
oh my God!
Yes.
Oh.
So this is the foreword that he wrote. He wrote it as a college essay, and then I asked him if I could share.
The foreword to 12 Octobers was written by my son Tyler for an assignment in his freshman writing class. It's called Stuffed Shells, Jimmy Stewart and Charlie Brown. Oh, Grandpa and Me. That would be your dad?
Yeah.
1994.
Yeah.
Now, this book, December 2006, that's when you were diagnosed.
Correct.
And what did I do up here? Now, this book, vitamins. Aha! Vitamin D. What do you think? Was it worth it? Did you say it's good?
Know. I think that again, it's difficult to know. Some reports say yes, some say no.
Yeah.
I know that I had a low vitamin D level, so I took vitamin D. But again, I think it's difficult for patients to follow because the news changes so quickly, or reports change so quickly. But for me, it was recommended, so I did take it.
That's what I've been doing. I think I've been taking 2 little ones a day so that it equals 1,000 or 2,000 milligrams, something like that. I don't get enough sunshine at all, so I'm thinking, you better up it, girl.
New England.
Oh, I looked at, now what was this other one here? Pre-existing. At the start of 2014, health insurance companies in the U.S. could not refuse to cover or charge more for people with a pre-existing condition or health problem before the start of new health coverage. That's always a challenge. They're threatening now to take that away. What is wrong? Why would you do it?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think I have to say, and I believe I write about this, that it was a relief that pre-existing conditions would be covered, because we have a complex healthcare system, and the thought of that being taken away again, or potentially being taken away again, it doesn't make any sense to me. And I think that at one time or another, we all are going to have a pre-existing condition, and it's widespread. It can be something from acne, it can be a pregnancy, all the way to cancer and other chronic diseases.
How can they say that
I'm not sure.
breast cancer is pre-existing? We just found out about it. How would we know how pre it is?
Right, but it is now, right? It's a pre-existing condition for me now.
They can't shut down everything like.
I'm not sure. I don't know how that could be justified.
But being a nurse, you're probably thinking, my patients.
Of course.
Now you teach at UMass Dartmouth.
UMass Dartmouth, yes.
And you teach nursing courses there?
Yes, I do.
I didn't know that UMass Dartmouth had a nursing school.
Yes.
I think UMass has, in part of their medical school?
They have graduate programs.
A graduate program.
Yes.
What made you decide to go into nursing?
Well, when I was about 5 years old, my Uncle Leo, my godfather, said, I really think you should be a nurse, and I never looked back.
So as soon as you're out of high school, that was it?
I went, yes.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to the old St. Vincent's in Worcester.
Oh, the old St. Vincent's?
The old St. Vincent's Nursing School. It was a diploma program, and then I continued my education.
Do you work now as a nurse actually in the hospital?
No, I don't know. I haven't for, I want to say since 2006 or 2007, so I teach full-time now.
I have my son's girlfriend wanted to study phlebotomy, and I guess she did great on part of the test. They're strict. She didn't get through the second part or something.
Hard.
Is it that hard?
Absolutely.
A lot of math.
A lot of everything. Science, math, clinical, a lot of skills you need. So
you got to be really brave because you've got a needle in your hands, and you've got people. I've heard that men can pass out.
Yeah.
The big, strong guys like. Ugh.
Sure. It's complex. I think that the role of the nurse is more complex than people think, and when they need a nurse, and I think they understand more.
Yeah.
So yes, I think it should be challenging, and we want good nurses taking care of people.
Have you thought that you might want to work on oncology floors again with your experience?
Yes.
To share it.
I have thought that, but I actually think more on the hospice or palliative care side at some point.
Hospice
I'm
kind of
not
interests
quite
me.
ready.
Yeah.
But someday that's one of my aspirations to.
So
do
you
that.
speak to your students and you share your experience with them?
Sometimes, depending. I teach some chronic illness classes, and sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It depends on the students, but it depends.
We are talking with Maryellen Brisbois, got it right, and she is not only a nurse, she is a cancer survivor, breast cancer. Her book's 12 Octobers, Reflections of a Breast Cancer Survivor, and Why I Hated Pink, Confessions of a Breast Cancer Survivor. Now, it seems unfair, I agree with her, it seems unfair to deny care to people of all ages because they have one of many illnesses, from acne to diabetes to cancer. Again, it's that word, pre-existing, that's very troubling to me. You could walk in there, well, you could walk into the emergency room.
Of course.
How do you know it's pre-existing?
Right.
That's going to cover that. If that, gosh, forbid, but if that happens, that's going to really make it so. It would not be covered at all. Is that
right? Or it's more yes, but also that if you change jobs or have a lapse in health care, that then you won't be able to have health care again. Is the point? So, the way our healthcare system is, it's usually tied to employment, our insurance.
Yeah.
So there could be gaps, or you're ineligible for insurance.
She was writing in the book about when you got people were beginning to find out about your diagnosis.
Yes.
The meals started coming.
They did.
What, the neighbors got together?
Family, they came from a lot of different places.
Were you surprised?
I was surprised. I guess not because I have a great support system, but it's very humbling to have help.
Definitely. And no shame. No shame at all. We had a neighbor, they needed help for a while, and they put the word out if you can do a meal on a particular night.
Yes, for
and then
sure.
just leave it there, on their porch and
For
everything. And it
sure.
worked out. I guess it worked out great.
I think so too.
Personal care products. What do you think? What's that about now?
Along the way, I started to consider, I do not have a genetic predisposition to breast cancer. I've had genetic testing. So the likelihood that it's something in the environment is real. Only about 10% of breast cancer patients do have a familial history. So I started to look into personal care products. Some of the chemicals in them, might that be something that affects, it affects hormones? I don't know the answer to that, but I think that we don't have a lot of information. There are chemicals in all of our personal care products and cleaning products that are not regulated by the government, and if they have long names, we may not understand them. We don't even know individually how they interact, but if we put them all together, we really don't understand. So that became kind of a mission for me, but something I became very interested in, and taught an environmental class at UMass Dartmouth, and I really think that our environment is a predisposition to some cancers that we see, or certainly is.
Yeah, I've talked with a lot of friends, and God, you have to be careful what's in your makeup.
For sure.
Some friends will say, well, I can't afford to even get Avon. I'm like, well, you might want to know where you're going to get the best product and be real careful.
Right. And I have to say a lot of companies are really looking. You'll see things like paraben-free, dye-free, fragrance-free.
Sulfate-free in your shampoo.
Sulfate-free, exactly.
Is that really biggie, sulfates?
For sure.
It's an but it's only shampoo.
I know. But I think there's a real push to make some changes.
What does sulfate do that's so bad?
Again, some of them are endocrine disruptors. Usually that's seemingly the link, but again, there is a lot of research we had.
You would think that a shampoo would be almost harmless because you're not picturing it going into your body, does it?
Well, your skin absorbs everything, lotion, everything, deodorant. So
I wonder if our beauty salons and barbershops out there understand that,
I think more and more.
Are they?
I think more and more.
More
they
natural.
do. I think so, for sure.
Maryellen, how can people get a hold of your books?
Certainly can reach my Facebook page, Why I Hated Pink, or email me at mbrisbois@charter.net. And I always welcome readers' questions, responses, anything at all.
I love it. She's got a chapter here with the pages. You can't get bored because it goes so quick. Advocacy. That is so important. You advocated for yourself. I'm like that too, but not everybody does.
No, I think it's important, and I think that there's this unwritten rule, if you will, once you've gone through breast cancer and likely other cancers or experiences, that we really do have a sense of giving back. And people have helped me through. And I try to help other people go through, even they can text or call or reach out, and I think it makes a difference.
Do you go to a
Just have
support group? Do you run one?
I never went to a support group.
You did?
I did not, and I don't run any, but I frequently have friends who refer people to me. I don't do any medical suggestions, but I have really talked to a lot of people frequently, just to say, you might expect this, or questions to ask. So I call them pinkies, because sometimes I never meet them, sometimes I've never met them, some have passed without me ever meeting them, but I think that that's my way of giving back.
From the start to the end?
Yes.
How long did it take, the whole thing, from finding out till the end of your treatment? How long was it? A year, maybe?
Short of a year. I was diagnosed in December of '06 and finished radiation treatment, I would say mid-August of '07. So about 9 months, I guess.
It's a long time.
It was a long time.
Were you awake? Did you choose to be awake when they did the surgical procedure?
I wasn't. I was not completely asleep, and I remember speaking to the surgeon at the very end. I don't love
probably that's
anesthesia. Sedation.
I don't either.
For sure.
I would rather be awake. Really.
Yeah, just to have
sedation. So, I don't like it in between. Look, I mean, they're all in
the so I was not, but
that's brave.
Again, that's everyone. Everyone has to do what's best for them.
We got a couple of minutes left. Again, 12 Octobers and Why I Hated Pink. She's a breast cancer survivor, and she's a nurse. So, on one hand, boy, that's great, because she's a nurse, she knows.
Sure.
On the other hand, it's sort of like a double whammy.
It is.
You knew too much.
It is.
And did you find yourself having to stop worrying?
I think that there's a point where you have a plan. Once I had a plan, I was much better.
Yeah.
I could go through, okay, I have to do this week, next week. That made it easier, because I'm very organized, and it was the not knowing what was coming. I'm not really a worrier by nature, but my biggest worry was having other people concerned about me.
And you had 3 children at home.
Yes.
From high school down to what age?
6th grade.
6th grade in high school. And you had to explain this to them a little bit.
Yes.
Carry it on the light side, right?
On the light side, but being realistic.
Mm-hmm.
They had the mother of their friends had passed away right when I was diagnosed, so that was a little difficult to manage. But they had asked me to always tell them the truth, and I decided that that's what I would do.
You did a great job. Before we close, you are coming. Are you going to Colorado, did you say?
Yes, I'm going to Colorado in early August to a women's forum.
Mm-hmm.
As a keynote speaker to talk about my experience.
Yeah.
And the title is Little Marks of Kindness.
Little Marks of Kindness.
If we just are kind to each other and reach out to each other, that the world will be a better place.
Oh, this is great. If somebody would like to have you come and speak,
yes,
they could get a hold of you.
Absolutely.
All right, and look for her books downstairs in the Upton Town Library. Is there another book coming?
Well, I have to tell you, I have about 50 pages of another book written.
What's it going to be?
I don't know. Well, from
it's still
that,
it's continuing on.
Yes.
They call that a series.
I guess that's a series. It's rough.
Yeah.
But I always write different ideas down, and then I'll put it together at some point.
What a great idea!
Yeah.
You know what? We've got a branch of Dana-Farber up the street in Milford. I think every branch, all of the hospitals locally should have copies of your books there for the patients to borrow.
I think so too.
Right, or buy, whatever.
Yes.
Have you thought of that? Getting that out?
I have. Originally, Why I Hated Pink was out in that fashion, and I don't think it only relates to breast cancer. I think it's life.
Yeah.
But other cancers and other chronic challenges, I think.
Thanks for being with us, Maryellen.
Thank you for having me.
All right, I'm going to see that next book.
All right,
All right.
got it.
See you next time and be my guest.
Riding on a shooting star, heading out toward a dream.